topic.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, it's from Hunter. Hunter's really given us some good questions on this podcast.
He has. I think he's like one of our top listeners. He really is.
Well,
yes.
He's doing really well. He's winning a lot of state championships. Maybe we contributed to that. You reckon?
He's an excellent football coach. He's an excellent, and he's an even better man. He loves Jesus Christ. I could talk all day about Hunter Cantwell.
Yeah. Well, the question that he's given us is, should your quarterback play defense? I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, what's fascinating about this is he sent me this text at 7 a.m. last Monday, driving to work. Now I use voice text. I'm not texting. Don't give me any dirty looks. I'm telling the truth. I use voice text. I didn't type it out. So my initial response was, I hate it, but sometimes you have to. And then I said this, I brought you up. I said, Chuck's best teams, his QBs were killers on defense. And the two that stand out the most to me are Jeff Duggins and Brandon Smith. So this was fascinating. Hunter texted me back. He says, yeah, I remember Brandon playing safety against Tillman when Hunter was the quarterback. And I thought that was really cool because, last week we had Dale. That weekend we're playing Highlands in 03. You're playing Hunter and Tillman at Tillman. And Brandon, it's just, this is crazy how this is all connected. So, but he's like, I remember Brandon being there. And so here's what he's talking about. His safety last year, Connor Hodge, all-stater. Now he's their quarterback. And he was
his brother was pretty good quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Could have very well been Mr. Football.
I agree. And I got to see firsthand how good Cole was as a sophomore. Yeah. He was a great player. And, yes, I definitely think Cole Hodge belonged in the conversation as probably the best player in the state. I thought he was special. But here's sort of where we came. This is Cole's brother. And I just thought this too. I said, if a quarterback has played defense already and he's had success, I said, he's a competitor. He knows he's good. He's probably not going to react well to not playing. I said, if your quarterback has been playing defense, he said, I think you're probably going to have to play him both ways some. And I got a kick out of this. I got a text from Hunter Saturday morning about his quarterback. He let him play both ways. They played a really good Owensboro team. His quarterback was 18 for 22, 237 yards and 3 touchdowns, 80 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, 5 tackles, and an interception on defense. And, because, think about it. It's hard to take a guy that's a great player and probably one of the best safeties in the state of Kentucky and say, man, sorry about your luck, you're not going to play safety. So I think if your quarterback has played defense before, and I think if he's a defensive-oriented guy, I think he's got to play some both ways. You got to protect him. And I have done a little bit of that with Kalen Drakeford, and then Trosper would actually spell him on offense instead of defense. So I think you need to do that. Now, if it's a guy that's a quarterback and that's his role, I've tried to make that fit sometimes, and it hasn't been good just because I thought they would be the best guy. Dustin Grutzer, though, he played both ways all night, and he had to wear shoulder pads like a linebacker. He didn't like it, but he still threw for 8,000 yards in 3 years, so I think he's okay. But, I don't think there's a one answer fits all, but I think you just got to weigh it all out, and you basically have to decide this: is the reward worth the risk? And I would have a tough time telling one of the best safeties in the state of Kentucky, and he was all state, saying, "Nah, you're not going to play defense." So that's my thoughts on it. What do you think?
Well, I agree with a whole lot of what you said, almost everything that you said. Anytime that I've ever had a quarterback that was tough enough, to play defense, we had a state championship team. We really did. And, you mentioned Jeffrey Duggins, you mentioned Brandon Smith. They were all tough kids. And I think that that when your quarterback is tough like that, I think spills over to your team. I think they feed off of that. They say, "Hey, man, if this quarterback, he's not a prima donna. He's one of us. He's a tough guy." And I really think that just manufactures toughness on your team. I just think they feed off of it. And every time we've done it, we've had a state championship type of team. I think as a coach, you got to be smart about it. You got to pick and choose when to play them on defense. If you're playing a game that you think you can handle without him playing, then maybe you hold him out some. And with the guys like Brandon and Jeffrey, then there were times when they came over to me on the sideline and said, "Coach, I got to go back in on defense because we just they need me out there." I was going to have to fight them on the sideline, so I would just say, "Get over and sit down. I'll tell you when to go." But there's no question that in today's football, that's why I think the reason why you got to be smart about it. There's just no question in today's football that the quarterback position is the most important position on the field. That's a fact. I'm not going to argue that with anybody. It is the most important position. You cannot win a state championship without a good quarterback. You can't, unless you are just stacked in every other position. If you're just stacked in every other position and all you do is need a quarterback just to manage the game, well, there's not too many people that have that kind of situation, but the quarterback is the most important position, so you can't really take a chance. You got to pick and choose when to use him. You can't take a chance to get him hurt. If he does get hurt, then your season's over with. I've had both. I've done both. I've used a quarterback on both offense and defense, and then I used just a quarterback. And I've only won it once. I've only won one state championship with just using just a quarterback on offense and not using him any on defense. So that's how I feel about it. I think that I love what Hunter's doing. I think he's got the right idea. That kid is a great player, and I would play him both ways.
Yeah, I agree. Well, hey, so now we're into